George Dickel Barrel Select Tennessee Whiskey, a light and smooth whiskey experience that has been highly rated over the years. Let's review this bad boy, shall we?
I'm bringing you George Dickel Barrel Select Whiskey. Tennessee Whiskey is, essentially, as far as the rules go, the same as bourbon. Both of them have to be at least 51% corn. But the main difference between Tennessee Whiskey and bourbon is Tennessee Whiskey needs to be charcoal filtered. What that means is they get this charcoal from sugar maple charcoal, and you just filter distillate through it, and it kind of gets some of the impurities out, and it just creates a nice lighter, smoother whiskey. So most Tennessee whiskeys will be, lighter and a little smoother than bourbons, but that doesn't mean that they don't have any flavors. So today's whiskey is 84% corn, 8% rye, and 8% malted barley. So I can't really say it's a high rye, but it's got some rye in it, so I'm expecting to smell some spices, some goodness like that, like with the Old Scout, just not as prevalent, because the Old Scout was like 30-some%. I'm going to go ahead and let's pour this out. That came out very quickly. So this is 86 proof, 43% alcohol. And I do want to just, talk about the elephant in the room. Yes, you have to look at this disgusting mustache. I'm sorry. But I get into moods a lot. We all probably like the beer a little better, but I think you'll get over it. It's okay. Now I'm going to just go ahead and nose this. Well, actually, I do like the colors of some bourbons and some Tennessee whiskeys. These colors are really nice. And the legs are coming down pretty slow. Not as slow as, what was it last time? Not as slow as that $200 bottle I had, 25 year, but it should have a nice coating. I can't wait to have that rye soak in my mouth. So let's just nose this. And actually, if you remember the blind guessing, which I was awful at, I really thought I smelled some rye in one of those. This smelled, to my nose, like it has some rye notes. And I was right at the very least that this Tennessee whiskey had some rye in it, so at least I'm not a complete idiot. Yeah, that rye is just right on the front there. This is some nice rye, vanilla, spices. I will agree, it is a pretty light whiskey. It's a nice inviting nose. The Old Scout, it had more rye, but the nose wasn't as inviting. It was way more harsh than this. There is that little bit of ethanol in there, just tiny bit, but the Old Scout was way more. I might even be getting a little bit of orange zest in there. Probably because the last two reviews I've had has been the Japanese citrus and the 25-year citrus, but I'm picking that out a little bit. That's actually kind of surprising to get out of that. I like that. All right, give it a good sip here. Okay, initial impressions. I'm going to say the nose was better than this initial palate. That was incredibly smooth. I think the filtration process did its job. The rye isn't as prevalent on this palate as it was on the nose, but there's a nice coating mouthfeel. I think the finish is going to be the deciding factor on this one. There's a little bit of zest in there that I'm getting, but again, the nose was just, in my opinion, way more inviting than this palate was. I'm not saying it's bad, it's just not matching. Another sip. Yeah, the rye came through a little more on that. That's about all I'm getting on this. Now, this is at least aged, as they say on their website, 9 years. So I'm going to see if the bottle says anything different. It does not. But again, at least 9 years. So, not a really immature whiskey at all, and is definitely more mature than the Old Scout was. So I'm just getting some rye and some little citrus pops on the palate, but I'm going to say that finish, right in the middle of your tongue, able to suck it off a little bit. Wow, phrasing. Right on the middle of my tongue, you can kind of still like pick out some flavors and kind of just like, kind of like you have like a hard candy in your mouth. That's a sign of a good whiskey, as you heard my Scotch fathers say. Yeah, the finish is going to be really good. And by the way, this is $55, so just $10 more than the Old Scout. And another thing, I'm going to change up my rating system right now. It's not as granular as I would like, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank the nose, the palate, the finish, and the value separately and then average them out. So you're going to watch me fail at math at the same time. So I think on the nose, I'm going to give that a nice solid 3. Nice solid 3 fingers on the nose. That was a very inviting nose, a little better nose than the Old Scout was. Even though the Old Scout had more rye in it, I think the nose is a little better. As far as the palate goes, I'm going to give it a 3rd sip just to kind of like justify what I'm going to say. It kind of, I don't want to say it's bad. It kind of tastes, I guess, empty. You know, you're supposed to be getting a little, there's just a little bit of rye and zest on there, but there's nothing quite just sticking there on that palate. So I'm going to go ahead and give the palate a 2 fingers. But the finish, I got to go ahead and give the finish a nice 3 fingers. It's lasting a good bit. And I think the finish has a little more of the vanilla rye sweet on there. And it's nice and warm. This would be something nice to have once fall is starting to hit and sit on your deck and it's like 60 degrees out. This would be a nice thing to pull out off your shelf. And then as far as the rating of the value goes, $55. I'm going to go ahead and give that 4 fingers on the value. $55 for a nice, sippable, neat whiskey is kind of hard to find these days. So 4 on that. So I'm going to do math. Be right back. So overall, it looks like the math comes out to, I'm going to average this out to about a 3 fingers, which, hey, very solid. It's $55 whiskey. Nothing wrong with that. If you're trying to get into like some lighter bourbon-esque whiskeys, this is not a bad choice. It's very highly rated on, I think it's Wine Advocate, which is hilarious that they rate whiskeys. So, yeah, go ahead if you want to go grab a nice Tennessee whiskey. George Dickel is for you. Good. Okay, wife time. If you're new to the channel, this is the segment where I kind of force my non-whiskey wife to try the whiskey that I'm reviewing. So I don't remember if I was even doing face cam at that point on the Old Scout. I don't think I was. I don't know if she tried it. That's kind of the only thing she could compare it to. So anyway, honey, Tennessee whiskey. I don't think you've had one before. So, did you have the Old Scout?
I don't remember. I don't think I did.
Okay, well, give that bad boy a nose there and see if you can get any inviting flavors. Get any baking spices, maybe some vanilla, maybe some citrus pops, kind of like I did.
Vanilla.
You know, kind of like your bacon, right?
I get apple.
Get some apple. Hey, that's not weird at all. Whatever you pick up is completely valid.
Vanilla and apple.
Completely valid. Okay. All right, you excited to try it?
I am.
Oh, okay, that's cool. All right.
I'm always excited to try it.
Now, let's see if she makes the distiller feel bad after she sips. Okay, they don't care. That's pretty light, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So again, the charcoal filtration process just kind of like smooths her out. Not quite the same, but kind of like the triple distilled Auchentoshan we had on the channel before. It just kind of like lowers the ABV a little bit and just makes it a little more smooth. So did you find it to be smooth?
I did.
Do you like it? Do you pick any flavors out specifically on that, or no?
No.
No, right?
No.
It was kind of hollow.
No,
or
I
empty.
don't. I don't. It's just either, for me, it's either smooth or not smooth.
Okay, do you want to give it another crack?
Sure.
Okay. It's two's kind of like a fair judgment. Anything on that? Ooh.
I feel it in my nose.
Oh, she got it in her nose. Look at that.
It's good.
Okay, all right.
Good.
Now.
It just kind of
This is the moment of
warmed
truth.
me up.
We saw what she did with the Japanese whiskey, and we also saw what she did with the 25-year single malt whiskey. Sorry, Glenlivet.
Sorry.
Now, where would you rank that on your current I like whiskey bar? Got Japanese on top,
Mm-hmm.
and then probably James Buchanan.
I would say this is right there with James.
And then
Did
Auchentoshan's
I say
under
that
that.
right?
Yes, you did.
Buchanan? Okay.
Yes, and then the Auchentoshan's under that.
Yes.
So you got your 4 there, and then
Yeah.
the 25 years gone.
No.
25 year. Okay. All right.
I think that's all I've tried so far.
Who knows? I don't know. Anyway, it passed the wife test on this one, so you take that with what you will, and cheers. All right, it's Whiskey Wheel time. So, I don't know what I want this to land on. I kind of want it to be viewer's choice, although that would require me to buy more whiskey. So we'll see, and if it does land on viewer's choice, I'll explain the rules on that. So, give it a whirl. It's wife choice. However, it's been a little too soon since the last one. So, here's what we'll do. If you want wife choice, give me a comment to say you want wife choice. I'm going to spin it again just in case. So. Alright, we have Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Rye. That should be a cheap bottle and something we could all get behind. Alright, see you next time.